She's alive. She's in a place as dark as this one.
Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we're going to be recapping the first 2 episodes of Mayfair Witches. The episode, titled The Witching Hour, begins with a doctor arriving at a woman's house and giving her a dose of thorazine. It's usually used to treat patients with psychotic disorders like schizophrenia. The doctor is surprised that the patient is a young woman, but we are told she is 47 years old. The doctor instantly realizes something is wrong. 2,000 miles away, Dr. Rowan Fielding is seen on a boat. She believes that this is her way of traveling the world looking for home. She is adopted and wants to find her birth mother, and is also supported by her adoptive mother, Elena. She is also a successful neurosurgeon who seems to face issues of sexism from her male peers, especially in the form of the chief surgeon, Dr. Keck. Moreover, she has a bigger problem with her mother's cancer becoming malignant. Rowan requests Dr. Keck to let her mother into the stem cell research trial that a person called Daniel Limley is conducting, but he refuses. She loses her cool and envisions a certain artery of Dr. Keck rupturing, and shockingly, this kills him instantly. She tells her mother that things like these were recurring, and that is the reason she is so adamant about finding her parents and understanding her reality. She then gets a call from an investigation agent named Cyprian Greve, saying that they are just inches from their mission of finding her parents. Lemley agrees to include Rowan's mother in the study. But sadly, he is another sexist who isn't just disrespectful towards women, but also doesn't close the door to the bathroom while using it around them. And yet again, Rowan accidentally uses her powers to kill the arrogant man. Rowan cannot run or hide from her power. She has to learn about her reality. A young Deirdre living with her aunts is shown feeling suffocated because she is only allowed to attend church and school. She is in love with the man, aka Lasher, and wants to be with him. But he leads her to Uncle Conrad's party. Her uncle was aware that his niece was coming and pulls some strings to get a boy from the party sleep with her that night. Deirdre gets pregnant and gets locked in the house. As her due date draws closer, the father, who believes that the child is Lasher's, tries to talk to her. Deirdre denies Lasher being the father of the child and tries to commit suicide only to be saved by her lover. He shows her his true form and reveals that the necklace binds them together. After wearing the necklace, she goes into labor and gives birth to a baby girl who is instantly taken away from her. Carlotta, Deirdre's aunt, gives the child to Elena, another niece of hers, and asks her to raise the baby without the Mayfair name. The doctor we saw at the start of the episode denies Deirdre the medication and takes off her necklace. This frees Lasher, and the episode ends in horror, with Rowan walking up in the middle of the ocean with a strange man, but then he disappears in a second. The second episode begins with a flashback to, it is the year of the 16th and 21st, where a woman who is an expert in medicine lives with her children. One afternoon, she sends 2 of her daughters, Suzanne and Fleury, to collect some herbs before the sun comes down. While picking the herbs, the younger Fleury notices a man standing behind the tree looking at the siblings. The older Suzanne tells Fleury to close her eyes and recite the name of the herbs she picked. While Fleury does this, Suzanne is shown Julie, pleasuring the man. She is visually disgusted at what she's doing, implying that she is forced to do it. Viewers are then transported back to the present day, where Rowan is still trying to search for her birth parents. When she calls the agency she was adopted from, and learns that they were not operational when Ellie adopted her, she realizes that her adoptive mother was always lying to her. This breaks her spirit, and to make matters worse, she even begins sensing an evil presence around her. This evil presence is none other than Lasher, who is constantly keeping tabs on her while communicating with the now increasingly functioning Deirdre Mayfair, who is out of her fugue state, but makes sure Delphine and Carlotta Mayfair don't find out about it. Meanwhile, Rowan has been keeping herself busy with work since her mother's passing. One day, however, Rowan finds out that she has no work scheduled. Upon speaking with Dr. Keck, she learns that he made that happen by giving her a break and telling her to talk to a psychiatrist called Dr. Davis. When Dr. Davis brings up Daniel Lammel's death, Rowan becomes furious, and Dr. Davis begins bleeding. She immediately leaves her office and goes to her car, where she sees some crows dying and falling on her car. In a state of panic, she goes to the beach and buries the crows, begins crying, and falls asleep on the beach itself. Meanwhile, Cyprian Grieve has been constantly spying on her in the episode so far. When she wakes up, she realizes it's nighttime and leaves the beach, but on the way, realizes Grieve is still following her. Grieve says that he only wants to help her. Rowan begins fleeing for Grieve's safety when he momentarily touches her and passes out after encountering horrific visions. While Grieve is taken to the hospital, Rowan steals his phone and, upon learning about her mother's house in New Orleans, immediately books a flight. Elsewhere, Lasher tells Deirdre Mayfair that Rowan is coming home. Rowan reaches New Orleans and tries to inquire about the house from locals. Eventually, Grieve tracks her down and asks her to meet, to which she agrees. The next day, Deirdre Mayfair sneaks out of the house and goes to her Uncle Conlon's house, who gives her room to find her daughter. She tracks Rowan and reaches the hotel. In the hotel, she sees her aunt, who again tells her that her daughter is dead. However, Deirdre can't be broken now, and will meet her daughter this time for sure. Rowan is seen waiting for the elevator to meet Cyprian Grieve, but when the door opens, she sees Deirdre standing there instead. A happy reunion quickly becomes a tragic one when Deirdre's throat is split, and she dies on the spot with Rowan weeping in agony. I thought I was doing okay. God, how did I end up this way? I think I'm getting used to this pain.